views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Dr. Bob Lee. Welcome to Open BxRx, our special coverage of COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus, and how it's impacting our community and beyond. And coming up on today's show, well, we'll take a look at a variety of health services in the Bronx and how they have gone remote. Plus, we'll sit down with a woman who is working to help students prepare and navigate higher education amid this pandemic. After that, we'll be joined by a singer and songwriter and find out how this time at home has impacted her community and her music. Then Bobby C has the latest news in the world of sports, and then later on, trainer Larry Hamilton joins us for fitness you can do at home, like what I'm doing right about now. So stay tuned. All this and more is headed your way because we are now open. Hello and welcome to Open. Our first guests are from the Bronx Community Health Network, and they join us today to discuss their programs and their work in response to COVID-19. And we welcome Community Health Worker Supervisor Patrizia Bernard and Community Health Programs Developer Renee Whiskey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Guys, tell us about the 21 community and school-based health centers that you guys sponsor.
Sure. So good morning and thank you for having us. Bronx Community Health Network, we're a federally funded organization and a nonprofit organization. And our mission is to connect people to comprehensive community-based healthcare. So that's access to community health centers, which provide a wide range of services. And those health centers are actually both community and school-based, which allows people to get everything from primary care to seeing a social worker, a nutritionist, health educator, both in the community and at our network schools.
Renee,
Yes.
how are you aiding the community during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Sure. So we have a longstanding history of bridging the gap between clinical care and community-based services. So that's everything from helping community members to apply for health insurance, benefits, legal services, just really connecting people to the resources that they need, as well as connecting them to primary care. What we know is that in our communities, these issues have persisted for many, many years, and they will continue to persist and be highlighted now because of COVID-19. And so we are the bridge. We help connect people to healthcare and social services.
And Patrizia, how have things changed since the pandemic?
Well, the way things have changed for us is specifically for people who are needing assistance in applying for services. A lot of those services are now virtually available, right? So that's one big change. People used to be able to walk into their HRA office to apply for SNAP or cash assistance programs. All those services are now available. Those services are still available, but the applications are now online. So that's, for some of the community members that we serve, that's an additional barrier. Not everyone has access to the internet. Those applications tend to be long, a little bit confusing. And so our staff is there to help guide people through the process.
Gotcha.
Another thing that has also changed is a lot of the people that used to provide similar services, for example, food pantries, are now closed. And so we have to constantly reassess what community organizations are still available to provide those services and make sure that we're making the right connections for people.
Did you have to add new programs?
No, like Renee said, I think we've always worked with community. That's what we do. We're in the business of helping people. We work with underserved communities. We're always there to connect them to services. We haven't necessarily had to add any new services yet. There are some that we are considering, and those are things that we're exploring internally. We know that the biggest need now, one of the things that our staff is finding is that the biggest need now is food, and in particular food delivery. So a lot of people are not able to leave their house to go get food, and so how do we get that food to them? And that's one of the things that we're exploring internally.
Yeah. Are you working with any of the major hospitals or care agencies?
Sure. I can answer that question I don't know if you're done asking the question, but I can answer if.
Yeah, either one of you guys can jump in anytime.
Okay.
Yeah.
So BCHN works in very close collaboration with the Montefiore Health System in the Bronx. And so a lot of the people that we serve are people that usually go get their care there. And because they're screened for social determinants of health, which are food insecurity, housing, transportation, we connect those people to the services that they need.
Tell us about some of the resources that are still available, like right now. What should people know? What do you want to tell them? The people that you serve.
I think the most important thing for people to know is whether you had a need for food or housing assistance or legal services or any of those social service needs before, the services are still available. You just have to access them in a new way. And we know that that can be a challenge. And so like Patricia mentioned, part of our work is to really work with people to help them through that process. Now, there are a lot of community members who maybe didn't have a need before and now have a new need arising because maybe they lost their job because of the pandemic. Maybe, right now it's very challenging. There are a lot of deaths, and we know that in some cases, the sole provider in the home is no longer with us. And that's challenging in and of itself. And so how do you now become the new caregiver for your home services? So, unemployment benefits are still available, and there are new unemployment benefits available to those who have been affected by the pandemic, and a plethora of other services. But our outreach specialists are really, really versed in those services and really help make those connections for people.
Yeah. So the best thing for people to do when they see the door closed is you have a sign on the door saying where to call.
Well, for us, you can always reach us at 929-220-8181.
Wait, what was that again?
929-220-8181. Those calls go straight to our outreach specialists, and then we'll connect you to the appropriate person to help you with your need. But also you can shoot us an email at info@bchnhealth.org. And we also filter those emails and connect you with the most appropriate person to help.
Final words, you guys want to let anybody know anything special before we wrap?
I think for me, in my part, what I want to say is I know that this is very difficult for everyone. I think specifically the Bronx is being hit really, really, really hard, and it's exposing a lot of the disparities that already existed. But what we want to let the community know is we are here for you. If you need help accessing services, if you need help for food, whatever it is that you need help with, just give us a call and we'll try to connect you to the right person.
How can we correct a lot of the disparities that are out there? I mean, we had to get a COVID-19 pandemic to put a magnifying glass on the whole situation. How can we correct those things so the next time something like this, we pray to God that it doesn't, but if something like this happens again, we won't be in this, it seems like we're like unprepared position.
Well, I think that there have been many institutions working collaboratively for a while trying to address these issues, both in healthcare and in the social service setting. And I think that COVID-19, one of the good things that came out of it is that it really highlighted that there needs to be funds poured into these kinds of collaborations. There needs to be more collaboration at the local level and the federal level, the city, the state, to really, really work together in a very coordinated way to make sure that some of these inequities are addressed and that we have an equitable society for people.
Yeah. Well, we pray to God.
We do.
Continue to pray. Thank you guys so much. Is there a website that people can go to find out more information about what you guys are doing?
Absolutely. You can visit us at bchnhealth.org. That's our website, and on all social media, our handle is at bchnhealth.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Community health worker supervisor Patrizia Bernard and community health programs developer Renee Whiskey. We thank you guys so much. God bless you. Stay safe and stay in those homes.
All right.
We'll be happy to be there.
You got it. Stay safe.
All right.
All right, we'll take a break. I've got more coming up next on Open. And welcome back. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. And our next guest is working to empower young women and minorities economically. It's a great thing. Through her organization, Seeds of Fortune. And she joins us today to discuss her details. And we welcome Nitiya Walker. Nitiya, we welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much, Bob. It's great to be on the show today.
Nitiya, through Seeds of Fortune, you've helped minority young women, earn upwards of $6 million in college scholarships and grants. Talk about it.
Yeah, so I started Seeds of Fortune back in 2014. We had a cohort of 3 young women, and I started Seeds of Fortune because we really wanted to economically empower young women of color. I was a high school senior, and I didn't want to go into debt to go to college, and I had encountered this young woman in my Girl Scout troop that got $150,000 to go to Spelman College, and she had informed me that her mom had taught her how to get scholarships to college.
Yeah.
So I worked with her mom for 4 weeks in the summer before my senior year, and she helped me to package myself for scholarship organizations. And by the time I got to undergrad, I had really started to see like my peers be affected by the student loan debt crisis that was happening even all the way back in the late 2000s. And they had to actually leave their university and go back to the city to be able to finish out school because they couldn't afford to stay at their college. And I was like, well, what if I never met that young woman who taught me how, that young woman and her mother who taught me how to get scholarships for college, then I would have been at a disadvantage as well. So I went back into my community. We started with 3 girls, and now we have about 77 to 100 girls that have been impacted by our program over the last 5 to 6 years.
All right. Congratulations. Yeah. And you've been doing it for how many years now?
We've been doing it for 6 years now.
There you go. $6 million, 6 years. There's something to it, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
What are some of the other concerns that the people are calling you about?
So especially during the COVID-19 crisis, there's just so much transition in the education system and also higher education. We have a lot of, so our program went from a 2-year high school preparatory program to a 6-year program where we support our alumni into the university, and we stay with them until they graduate from college. So we've had 2 graduating classes already graduate out of college that started the program when they were about.
Okay, all right. I'm loving it.
Yeah, so they were around 15, 16 when they started the program, and now they're like 22. But for our college students that are still currently in the program, a lot of them were rushed back home after the whole COVID-19 crisis happened. The colleges shut down their dorm rooms and things of that nature, but it also has affected the high school pipeline into college because now a lot of financial aid packages are delayed. There's a lot of renegotiations. Parents have lost their jobs. So maybe they could have afforded to send their child to a college before, but now they can't. So really trying to teach our current class how to appeal to the colleges for more money, how to really be able to advocate for themselves, to make the college experience affordable.
Everything online, just about, right?
Almost everything.
Oh, wow. So we have to do it. You have to continue to do what you do to help other people get what they need out of life and help them through their education. What other changes have you seen, or maybe changes that you can see to help our youngsters?
Yeah, I think that we have to kind of reevaluate the higher education system process in general. A lot of colleges are kind of afraid, especially with COVID-19, to like open back up their room and board campuses because even though the virus might decline, you never know who has it. Everybody's coming from all across the country. New York, we know specifically, has been impacted really badly by the epidemic. So you just never know. It might slow down, it might pick back up. So there's a fear around bringing the students back on campus. And now everybody has moved to online learning. So this should make it more cost effective for students to be able to afford college. In the United States alone, there's about $3 trillion of student loan debt that is carried currently right now. And there has to be more effective ways for people to gain access to higher education that's not so expensive. And with everyone moving to, almost all colleges moving to online learning for this spring semester.
Yeah, and people, they ridiculed that at one time. Oh, you got your degree online? Oh, here it
right?
is. Here we are.
And everybody's online now learning and just trying to adapt to that environment, but also creating the economies of scale that will make it more affordable for students to be able to pay, because a lot of times students might get they have FAFSA that will cover their tuition. New York State has a great program under Governor Cuomo that was launched a couple of years ago that allows all New Yorkers, households that have $125,000 to be able to go to college tuition free. So that's through the CUNY system or the SUNY system. And that is helpful, but if you want to go away to a SUNY school, which is one of our state universities, upstate, Long Island, you have to pay room and board, and room and board itself is almost about $10,000 to $15,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's like, you got accepted to the school, you're excited. The Excelsior Scholarship is the one that helps to cover the tuition mandated from the governor. But then it's like you can't even still go to that university, because if you're a parent making $50,000 a year, $15,000 is a lot of money to be able to try to support your child through college.
Yeah, it's a chunk out of your budget to do that. So yeah, then you come in, and your organization helps out with a lot of that stuff. Let me ask you a question. How does you or your organization feel about opening up things at this point? Do you think it's a wise thing?
We are still a little hesitant to open things up yet, because there's just still a lot of deaths happening. There's still a lot of uncertainty about how things are happening. We have our signature college prep boot camp that usually happens for our in-person scholars program, and we have decided to take that semi-online as well. Our gala is supposed to be in June, our annual gala. I know, it's supposed to be June 13th. We've actually decided to also take that online.
We're going to come.
Yes, come. Yes, it's going to be online. It's online. Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great, but I just don't think we're quite yet, especially in New York, because we live so compactly next to each other. I don't think we're quite ready to just roll back into our day-to-day the way it was prior. And everybody's household have been affected so vastly, depending on where you're coming from. We particularly, our program is for young women of color, and the minority community has been impacted more severely than other communities in New York. So we're trying to be mindful of that. And we feel like, just to keep things certain, that moving everything mostly online for at least this first half of the year is going to be probably the way to go until things kind of cool out.
And finally, what advice do you have for students worried about what's to come?
I would tell them that it's all about being agile. It's all about taking advantage of the moment. I would say for them to go back to the colleges, if there's colleges that they really, really want to go to, renegotiate with them. Let them know that this is the first choice that you want to go to. Your parents are having hard economic times. How can we make this work? They really have to start to advocate on their behalf in the future. Because of the climate that we're living in, it's going to be really important for them to be there, for their voices to be heard even more now than ever.
And it should be cheaper now that it's online. You don't have to physically occupy a
room
like that.
You
so
don't have
to take account for that.
Yes, they should definitely take into account for that. We've heard from some of the universities that they're even thinking about keeping it online for fall semester, bringing the students back in the spring semester or staggering them to come in class by class in the fall semester so that there is less risk of any of the viruses spreading. But I think that at the same time, there needs to be a rethinking. And I think that this just sheds a lot on the bubble that was bound to burst on the higher education system and its affordability and access,
Nitiya,
especially people of color.
Yeah. Nitiya, what's your website?
Our website is www.seedsoffortune.org. If young women would like to be a part of our college prep network, it's for 10th through 12th graders in high school. They can go to www.seedsoffortune.org/network.
Nitiya Walker, founder and executive director of Seeds of Fortune. Thank you so much. Nice talking to you too.
Nice talking to you as well.
Stay safe. We love you. And thank you for your service. All right, we'll take a break right here. You're welcome. We'll take a break right here. I've got more coming up next on Open. Welcome back. I'm the Doc Bob Lee. You know, in partnership with WFUV, he's a reporter, George Bodarky. He's joined by a student working to use a 3D printer for a cause. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm George Bodarky. I'm the news director of WFUV. That's an NPR affiliate station based in the Bronx. And I'm coming to you as part of a collaboration we have with BronxNet called Bronx Connections. And joining me is a 17-year-old high school student from Manhattan named Sam O'Hara, who's been producing face shields for doctors and nurses fighting the COVID-19 pandemic, including doctors and nurses at St. Barnabas Hospital in the Bronx. Sam, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
So where do you go to school?
So I go to the Birchwood and Lennox School, and that's in Manhattan.
And how is distance learning going for you?
You know, it's going all right. I can't complain. I'm definitely more of a hands-on person, hence making face shields. So it's difficult, but I'm making do.
So yeah, what inspired you to take the step to start making face shields? It's not something that everyone can simply do at home.
Yeah, so I kind of got lucky actually. Just by chance, I got a 3D printer for Christmas right before COVID-19, perfect timing. And I've always been into engineering. I'm very science and math oriented. So when my mother, she's a pediatrician, and she suggested this to me because she personally experienced PPE shortages. And I started around late March making face shields on my 3D printer at home. And I've been doing it ever since.
Now, what's the process like to produce these face shields?
So it's kind of a two-part process. I start off making the 3D printed part, which is a headband. And you would wear this just like a typical pair of glasses over your head like that. Mm-hmm. And the second part is I have to make the plastic shield that goes over your face. So I've been making those actually. I started by hand. I have plastic film here. And that's definitely a tough first step. It takes a lot of time. It's very intensive. I started off making them on my own, but I actually recruited a local business in upstate to make them for me.
I understand that you were literally losing sleep at first making these, right? Literally losing sleep. How so?
So I've always been a night owl. I stay up all night anyways. But at the beginning, I was staying up all night just to reset the 3D printers. The way 3D printing works is you have to manually set the printer up before it can make anything. So I was doing that hourly all night into the early morning.
With setting an alarm for every hour, just keep hitting that button, yeah?
I tried that, but I ended up staying up continuously.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then having to go to class in the morning, I would imagine.
Oh, I didn't. I actually overslept.
Oh boy.
That became an issue. So I had to figure out a solution. What I ended up doing is I ended up stacking the face shields on top of each other in stacks of 10. So now they can go continuously. I don't have to reset it after each face shield. And that is more convenient because I can let it run overnight without having to touch it. So I go to bed and the 3D printer when I'm in the morning is done.
So you have this manufacturing going on while you're sleeping.
Yeah, I got it down to a science.
Can you show us how you make one?
Sure. So I already prepared. I have the printed part, and this is made on my 3D printer over here. So I've got 3 here. My dad actually loved the 3D printing so much, he bought 2 more right after I got the first one. So I've been making about 60 face shields a day. And
wow.
In order to make them, I take the 3D printed parts off of the printer, and they come off in a stack of 10. So I have to take them apart by hand, and they come off pretty easy. I can crack them off. And after I'm done with that, this part is done. So now I have to assemble the face shield. And so I use a hole puncher to punch holes in the top because that's where it gets attached to the headband. And for this one, as soon as I deliver these to hospitals, it's very easy. The assembly, you take a headband and you line it up with the hole punched holes, and like this, and then it's done. Then you can wear it.
There we go.
It doesn't fall off. I can shake my head. I actually was a bit worried that it would fall off if people are leaning over, but you know, good enough.
That's fantastic, Sam. I understand your mom, who's a pediatrician, is actually using this as well, right, in her practice?
Yeah. So I started off, one of the first places I ever delivered to was her hospital. And I can't name it for privacy issues, but her hospital, I donated about 200, 300 of these face shields.
Your mom has a personal connection to St. Barnabas Hospital in the Bronx, right? That's how that relationship started?
Yeah. So she is friends with another pediatrician at St. Barnabas. We're actually family friends. It goes way back. My dad went to college with her husband. So, you know, we've known each other, and I reached out to her, and she would be delighted to get these face shields at St. Barnabas.
That's fantastic. So you're making about 60 of these a day.
Yeah, about 60 a day right now. It started off, I was at 4 a day. Not very good. And so I by stacking them on top of each other, I was able to make many more.
That's really fantastic. So how does it work with the partner that you located?
So they cut the plastic for us. So all of the plastic for the shield part is cut out of a 5-yard roll. We order the rolls on Amazon. They come 5 yards rolled up of this plastic sheeting, and they get cut out at the business GNS glass. And when I get them, all I have to do is punch holes in the top. So I punch the holes, and they're ready to send out.
Really a remarkable effort, a wonderful operation that you have there right in your home in Manhattan. What's the next step for you? You're a senior?
Yeah, so I'm a senior. I just finished college applications. Not fun. And right now I think I'm off to Purdue University in Indiana.
Okay, and what do you want to do after you graduate college?
Well, I want to be a rocket scientist. So I'm planning to major in aerospace engineering. My goal is to build spacecraft. I want to build, you know, stuff like the space shuttle that gets launched into orbit around Earth.
Wow, that is pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. And no doubt you will do it based on what you've already been accomplishing, Sam.
Oh, thank you. And actually, the 3D printing started off with that. I started off 3D printing model rockets. I actually have one here I just completed if you'd like to see.
Yeah, show it to us.
Yeah, okay. Let me show it to you. So this is brand new. I finished making this, all 3D printed.
Wow.
And this is a NASA rocket. This is called the Space Launch System. And I don't know if you've heard, but by 2024, the US is planning to return to the moon. It's about 40 years since anybody's been to the moon, and this rocket is going to be the one taking people there.
That's amazing, Sam. I'm sure it will be. And I can tell you that I am honored to be able to say that I knew him when.
Really?
I'm sure, at some point you're going to be somebody, and I appreciate having the opportunity to talk with you now. Sam, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, George. We've got to take a quick break right here, but we'll be right back. I've got more Open on the way next. Yeah, welcome back, everybody, of the Dr. Bob Lee. And I have a singer, songwriter, and she's hanging out with me for a little while. She's going to discuss what she's doing at home, because it gets kind of crazy getting stuck at home, but there's a lot of things that you can do. You can do all the things that you couldn't do while you're out there hustling and working. And she has a new single out called Runaway, too. We'll talk to her about that. We welcome Amanda Holley to the show. Amanda, hey. Give me a high five. Give me a high five with the foot. Ready?
Hey. What's going on, Bob?
All right. So you're quarantined at home. What have you been working on?
Well, I wrote like 10 albums.
Oh.
It's not so much different for me, except, it's really crazy because usually I'm in most of us, we're pulling off 18-hour days around here up in the US of A, So it's a little different, but my creative process never stops, But I've been praying a lot for everybody who's tough times. It's really, my heart is I feel it.
I know. It is kind of crazy, but I'm glad that you're keeping busy. You're doing some great things at home. You're working with a friend of mine, Sandra Acosta. She's working with a number of organizations too. But thank you for all the great music that you've been putting out, and congratulations on the new one that's coming out.
Yeah, so Runaway just dropped, and we actually were just in the middle of getting ready to promote, and actually it's a record for empowerment of females, and for really anybody who's been in that tough space in a relationship where it's you're just ready to move on from it and ready to take control of your own life. And it's not even about hating on the other person, but just walking away and walking into something better.
Gotta go.
Yeah, and creating that record was a really big transformative moment for me. My producer, Davis Chris, along with Cecily Wagner, who was one of my co-writers, and Mr. Shane Foster. Actually, they're all dominating the charts right now. They're all on the top 10, iTunes and everything.
There you go.
We had just met that day, and I had been through this really crazy situation where I had walked away from a crazy contract, a lot of money I had to walk away from, millions of dollars.
Sometimes we've got to do it.
Yeah, and a crazy personal relationship. And this was spinning out of control. I had the flu and everything. Wow. And I was just feeling extremely hyper emotional. We went in the studio. We had a 4-hour block. It was the first time we ever met. We wrote and cut the whole record inside of 2.5 hours. I did all my vocals, background vocals, everything, including the writing. And don't even ask me. I guess it was some kind of higher power that definitely took control that day.
Yeah.
And from there, it just evolved into one record after another. And I changed. I became a lot stronger. And I wasn't afraid to confront people and stand up for myself.
Yeah.
And I had a crazy past. My whole life, my whole childhood was definitely far from normal. I've been through a lot of crazy and emotionally challenging, physically, everything you could think of. Yeah. But every single thing that I overcame came from my own, something that was bigger than me, that the creator put inside of me. And this record, even though it's for the street, and even though it's seemingly somewhat of a simple message about just empowering or standing up for yourself, or actually stepping into your own power. It was symbolic for me of a new era in my life are like really starting to own my own power. So that's kind of, yeah. And the video actually features a lot of my friends. One of my friends
Oh,
is
that's good.
a designer for Michael B. Jordan, and he's just incredible. He's friends with Quincy. He's just like my heart. My friends who did the creative direction on that, who runs February Fashion Week, who actually were the art and design director for Style Fashion Week, which I just played this past season.
Yeah.
Sony Hall, I opened for Wale.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
But you got to give it to the Bullion Foundation with Sandra
Absolutely.
Costa and
Yes.
Andre. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and also for the video, my director, Bobby Chance,
Yeah.
is actually acting coach to the stars as named by E Hollywood, and she's my director for this reality show that we finished the pilot for.
Look at you.
Yeah, and one of our executive producers is the founder of E Entertainment, Larry Nate. So I'm really.
So you got some heavies hanging around you, huh?
And some of my best friends / family / cast members are actually in that video. So
look at that.
Gotta give it up for my fam.
Would you like to introduce it for us?
Yeah, and I'll just spit a little bit from it.
I like that. I'm gonna spit a few. I'm gonna spit 16.
I wasn't planning on this. I'm gonna let you run, boy. Run away, run away, run away.
There you go.
Runaway by me, Amanda Holley.
Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. I like that. Good song. Look at that nice video. Look at you. And you have all your friends and everybody in there?
Yeah, a lot of my friends and people I work with, and really even like the shots on the mountains, overlooking the ocean, the cliffs. That moment, we didn't even plan on that. Actually, the director I shot it with, Louis Gooey, is a friend of mine who I met while working with Michelle Pascal, who works with the Dalai Lama, and Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith.
Wow.
Of a
Go Louis Gooey.
One of Oprah's people I looked up to as a little kid. We did a song together. Okay. I met Louis Gooey on the set and we were like, let's just shoot. And I said, let's go up to Malibu. And I found myself on those cliffs, man.
Wow.
It's symbolic because one of the first things I did when I walked away from the multi-million dollars and the crazy relationship type stuff, one of the first things I did when I got to LA to restart my life was go to those cliffs. Yeah. So it just kind of happened. Like the whole video just came together. It was very.
Sometimes, Amanda, when you close one door, another door opens up, and sometimes it's bigger and better, and it's a new beginning in another direction. Sometimes in a greater direction.
Absolutely.
Sanctioned by God. Now, listen, is there a website and all that we can go to check you out? Out more?
Yeah, you guys can follow me at Listen to Amanda on Instagram.
Listen.
IG. And obviously just Googling Amanda Holley on Spotify, iTunes, etc. Or listentoamanda.com.
I'm loving it.
Thank you.
Singer-songwriter Amanda Holley. We love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Booyah!
Bye.
All right, we'll take a break. I've got more. Headed up for you next. Right here on Open.
Hey there, sports fans. A very special treat today, joined by my friend Justin Shackle. I'm sure you've seen that handsome face on the scoreboard at Yankee Stadium. But Justin, of course, you're so versatile. What are you doing these days? Is this the longest that you've gone without a haircut? Because I know it's the longest it's been for me.
Absolutely, and that is 100% the reason why I have a hat on right now. There's no controlling what's under this cover. So I've just been trying to stay busy in my apartment with my girlfriend. She's been great. Lifting, reading, running, trying to teach myself a new instrument. I've always wanted to play an instrument, so I said, hey, if you're ever gonna have the time, now is certainly it. So just trying to expand my horizons, I guess you could say.
That's very cool. Now, again, I'm sure Yankee fans will definitely know you as a host at the stadium, but they get a chance to watch you too on the Yes Network. With baseball not in session right now, what are you doing to keep yourself busy at home other than these other hobbies and activities?
Yeah, I try and put together, a schedule when times are normal or when they were normal, so to speak. So I'm still anchoring on Sirius XM. I work there as well, and have my radio studio, which is also my kitchen table. So just trying to make it work. But a lot of downtime like everybody else, because without live events, it's pretty tough to talk about a lot of different things that aren't happening. So I think you can definitely include myself with many of the people who are just antsy for games to hopefully return soon.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm kind of at the makeshift point too in my kitchen using. Chris told me I don't do it. Our editor, Chris Busateri, who does a great job, said I don't do a good enough job of trying to dress up my location. I put my Yankee Stadium seat behind me. I don't know if you see it, but I try to do a little something for the fans at home.
I tried to do the backdrop that you could have online with these numerous apps, and I had it worked out for one app, couldn't get it figured out for another, didn't know how to do it for Google Hangouts, so you are left with the upper ceilings of my kitchen here.
You mentioned, Justin, about baseball being, of course, temporarily suspended because of the global pandemic, but it looks like there is some maybe promising news on the horizon. The fact that baseball could be coming back. Some reports now saying perhaps at the end of June, maybe the latest July 2nd, they could be doing this whole reorganization of the divisions, and perhaps that would abolish everything that we know about the American and the National League, keep things kind of local. Do you see baseball coming back soon, and do you like the idea of doing this local thing that would allow the teams to be back in their home ballparks and playing baseball sooner rather than later?
Well, Bobby, the number one rule that I kind of was taught about, getting into broadcasting, and if you're going to report on things, always leave room to explain, because the last thing you want to say is, hey, I don't know. But you know what? I really don't know. I wish I had some type of answer. Until there is more rapid testing and monitoring for the pandemic, it's really tough to know what is true, what could be true in the short term, and what the landscape's going to look like just a few weeks from now. So I think once we have those two parameters, more monitoring, more widespread and fast testing, I think the picture will be so much more clear for the short term. And I think that's what everybody kind of needs to be waiting on. I think the only guy that we could really trust in these days is Dr. Fauci, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Justin, I made the comment before about you kind of being a jack of all trades and doing all different sports and hosting and updates and of course the play-by-play too. But I do believe baseball's kind of been your bread and butter. For you as a broadcaster, how challenging has this been? Of course, not having the games to do, but what do you miss the most about America's pastime?
I love being at the stadium. I love being on the field, in the clubhouse, talking with the people that make the game go, and that's certainly something for me that I'm definitely missing right now. I hope it gets back to normal quickly. Obviously, there's so many greater concerns that are going on in the world right now than sports, and here specifically with baseball. But if you're going to ask me what I miss the most, it's just the routine of a normal day. Right now should be at the stadium. I think the Yankees would be playing the Tigers, concluding a series there, and it's just not happening. So it definitely sunk in when opening day rolled around, and then the home opener date rolled around, and everything kind of sinks in more and more. And obviously, it's not going to be normal. Whatever type of portion of the game is able to return at some point this year. So whatever happens, in whatever form we get it back, I'm going to be really grateful when it certainly comes.
Of course. I love watching you on the screen at Yankee Stadium. You do a great job, too, on the Yes Network. I think you're one of the up-and-coming sportscasters in the business. I know, again, that this has got to be a difficult time, especially because I really think this year was going to be the year for the Yankees. Talk a little bit about the expectation for the Bronx Bombers, especially after they reel in the big fish in their top starting pitcher there in Garrett Cole.
You would lose out on a prime year of Garrett Cole, and then you take a look at the Yankees roster up and down. I would say an overwhelming majority of the roster has players that are in those prime years of their respective careers. Every team loses something if no games are being played. No one is skating by here and catching a break if no games are being played. But I think teams like the Yankees, teams like the Dodgers, where they have so many players in their respective primes, well, you have to subtract one of those years now. And that window to win a championship, while it is still very much open, it's not getting wider. That's for sure. So, the only other way to go is the window closing. And I think that's the sad part. And that's the tough part that, fans and executives around the game, they would have to eat if there is no baseball in 2020.
One of the Yankee legends, too, going to be impacted, of course, by this global pandemic, because there's news now reports that Cooperstown celebration later this summer, honoring, of course, the captain, Derek Jeter, looks like it's going to be postponed and perhaps moved to the following year. Any thoughts on what kind of impact that's going to have to, I know Jeter will be fine, but any thoughts on the impact it's going to have to Cooperstown?
Just being around that city, and for anyone who hasn't been there, the Hall of Fame and Museum is obviously the lifeblood of that little town, and so much of its if its business happens in that 1 week. I think the summer months, alone, they're definitely losing a lot of their business there. But that 1 week, especially when you talk about the players that would be inducted with Jeter, Larry Walker, Ted Simmons, Marvin Miller, and just the buzz, the record crowds there, the summer season. I really feel bad for that town, but like everybody else everywhere, they're going to bounce back, going to be okay. And like you mentioned, Derek Jeter is going to be fine. I think this could probably be the biggest piece of adversity that he would experience in his baseball career. But again, he's going to be fine. They're eventually going to have a ceremony. It's just like everything else, you just don't know when.
So many ramifications to this, and of course, a great impact to the Bronx as well, with I think the economic impact of not having baseball here in the borough. Not only do the fans miss the Bronx Bombers, but we really miss it economically.
Yeah, and I think about those small businesses that kind of run along the stadium. I know people have kind of documented the adversity that they face as well, but those are the small businesses, and those are the places that fans know, and they become part of the game day experience, whether it's before the game or after the game. The bars, the T-shirt shops, all that. Those are the businesses that I'm certainly thinking about at times like this, because they all intertwine into the game day experience at Yankee Stadium. So I just really hope and I pray that everyone's able to make it out on the other side of this.
Same here, Justin. I'm also hoping that we can both get haircuts very soon.
Yes, because at first I kind of went for the late 70s Yankees look, where it's kind of you can't see it here, the hat's covering it up.
Oscar Gamble, maybe.
Yes,
Oscar Gamble, yeah.
I'm going for the covered ears look. I was starting to grow some facial hair, maybe a handlebar mustache. That got nixed right away. The girlfriend has to live with me as well here, and she doesn't want to look at that every day. So these are tough times for everyone with hair challenges, and hopefully we can get to the barber soon.
I hope to see you at the ballpark very soon, Justin. I appreciate you taking the time today.
Likewise, Bobby. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and in these times of the COVID-19 pandemic, you have to try to stay busy one way or the other. Just keep your mind positive thinking, mind, body, and spirit. You got to exercise your mind, body, and spirit every day in preparation for life. And I have a young man on with us today. He's been in our BronxNet studios many times before, and now he has moved his fitness studio to Zoom or home. And we welcome Larry Hamilton. Hey, how are you, Larry?
I'm doing great. Welcome to Beyond the Fitness Studio. This is my virtual studio here. I converted my foyer area, my apartment, to a virtual studio.
There you
And
go.
we're just being proactive since we're quarantined, you know? Something. Do you like my lights?
What have you been doing for the community right there from Zoom or from your apartment?
So I want to immediately when this struck, when we closed down in about March 16th, we thought immediately, how do we keep our Fit Fam moving? So we literally loaned all our equipment out to our Fit Fam. And so look, we're going to be closed for a bit. It might be best to stay home. So we gave away some equipment, and then we started a food drive for parents in need.
Great. Yeah. That's great. But you did a lot of exercising in the parks too, didn't you?
We did some exercise in the park, but when this thing got pretty crazy, we kept it, strictly home, and now we're working out virtually using Zoom. We do a lot of free workouts on Facebook. We're working out with the kids. I have a company called Path Kids. We promote activity through healthy kids. So every Wednesday at 2 p.m. and Saturday at 2 p.m. we're working out with the kids for free, totally on Facebook and on YouTube. So those are more of the community things we're doing now. Still trying to outreach to our people. It's just so interesting how, it is about exercise and staying healthy, but a gym, in my opinion, is about the community and staying with your people. And I think that's why people come to me. It's the community we built.
Yeah. How does exercising and keeping or trying to stay healthy help with the pandemic, COVID?
Great question. Great question. I think all of us were thrown into our homes, and essentially maybe you became a person that worked from home. So you have kind of this entrepreneur schedule. So with that schedule, you need to get your brain functioning right away. What's going to do that? Exercise. Exercise is going to give you that boost. It's going to help you structure your day. And most of all, it's going to help build your immune system. So we just kind of created these exercises around body weight. So you don't have to worry about, should I get the dumbbells? Should I get this fancy thing? Because we're ordering more stuff now online. So we kept it simple. There it is.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
right?
8, 9, 10.
I haven't seen that in years, though, man. I'm glad it still works.
Yeah. Well, I had a different one. It just had like a coiled spring. This is just a piece of wire on the inside of this thing. You can get it from Modell's if they still have it.
Hey, it still works.
Yeah. So what are you working on today?
So today, I want to share more about the community, how we're impacting it. I want to outreach. I think COVID-19 has brought some sadness, but the good thing about this, we can connect faster and more. So I want to share more about my community outreach program. And then I want to showcase some of my virtual fitness classes here, if that's okay with you guys.
Sure.
Yeah. So real quick, if you're looking for some quick and easy workouts, I do a 7-day challenge where it's called No Days Off. So every Monday we kick off this challenge called No Days Off. So
no days off.
No days off. From Monday to next Monday, I want you working out 7 days with me. And you can catch us on Instagram with that. So our Instagram handle is LH_transformations. If you want some more information, you can sign up there, message us. You'll see all the postings. So that's the first way to get out to us.
How'd you come up with that name?
Which one? No Days Off?
LH.
LH, that's me, Larry Hamilton. I'm transforming your life. So LH Transformations. Yeah, man. And I don't know if you can see the logo there. That's my logo. It's blended in, fusion. Yeah. And then with that, we are doing free workouts on Friday, Fitness Free Friday. That's on our Facebook page. You can join in for a bodyweight blast. I'm going to show you some of these exercises that you need no equipment, just your body weight. I call it the best piece of equipment, your body weight. So we're going to knock those out.
Move your body. Move your body.
All right. So I don't need music for this. Feel free if you want to throw some music in. So what I want you to think about, not just exercise, what I'm going to show you. These are simple movements to get you feeling awake. And then also think about it starting a great routine for your morning. So these are my top 5 moves I like to do in the morning. Ready, Rock?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do this. So once again, welcome to my virtual training studio where it all goes down. And to get going, when you wake up, you got like some back pain. Let's alleviate that really quick. So what I want you to do, ground your heels. If you're trying this at home right now, reach your toes, and you're going to come up and swing those arms one way, back down, swing those arms the other way. If you're lucky enough when you're doing this, you're going to feel a little crack in that back, a little snap, crackle, pop in that back if you do this. So once again, I'm going to turn sideways. You hinge over, and you swing. This is a great morning move. Great morning move like that. Now, Once you're done with those, let's light up those hamstrings. A lot of time the back is tight from sleeping in a position for too long. Hamstrings are the reason why your back is tight. So I like doing a little crisscross stretch like this. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Opposite arm, opposite leg, just like that. Easy to do, easy to do. Once you're done, ground your feet. Give me some squats to a reach back behind you. That's going to help limber up. So watch that again. Ground your feet, sit down to your hips, and then reach behind you. That's your third movement. Now, this is my ultimate favorite movement here. A lot of people, we never really go sideways. We're constantly walking forward and backwards. Almost like a little salsa dance there. So what you're going to do, take a side bend reach, take a side bend reach, and then squat.
There you go.
So 1, 2, squat. And all of these moves, like I said, are great for your lower back. My last move for you to help you out with movement and preventing lower back pain is a long leg lunge. So I'm going to turn this way so you can see my leg here. Make sure the back leg is straight. Stretch out that hip flexor, push back. And I promise you, you do those 5 movements, you're going to start to feel a lot better when you're waking up in the morning. And it gives you that little bit of a sweat.
Yeah. So
it's almost like a warm up. It could be a workout for some people. If you want to work out, come see me. We can do that too.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Right. So it's all about movement. Movement's magic, in my opinion. I think that's the best thing to do when you start waking up.
My father always said that. You got to keep moving. You got to keep moving.
Especially now. You don't want to be stagnant, you know. A lot of things out there. I think fitness is the conduit to just being happy and just starting your day. There you go.
All right. Yeah. Where can we go for more information on you?
More information. Let's keep it social. Follow our social media platforms. It's going to be LH_Transformations. That's Instagram. Or Facebook, LH Transformations Group Fitness Studio. You can log in there for a bunch of free workouts for the kids, a free workout for yourself. And then you can find out more information about my virtual fitness platform where we have over 15 workouts a week, all bodyweight exercises. We train one-on-one. We train in group classes. It's just different, you know. There's a lot of free classes out there, but we tailor it in a way that it's for you and progressive. So if you're looking to really make some strong goals and come out of this pandemic stronger, we can create this for you too.
Yeah, and then you can go and check you out on Zoom.
Zoom, let's go. Yeah, Zoom. If you reach out to us, we'll give you that link for Zoom and password, and we'll work out together. And then you enjoy my lights in my virtual studio.
There you go. Start off with the Commodores in the background. Just take it back and say, Zoom, I like to fly away.
You got a voice, man.
All right. Hey, thank you so much. So we're going to LHTransformations.com or what? Tell me what it is.
LHTransformations.com. That's a great way to just find us on our landing page at our website. There you're going to find a multitude of what we do, including the fitness studio. But now I want to be on our social media platform. So you can do the website at LHTransformations.com. You can do the Facebook page at LH Transformations Group Fitness Studio or the Instagram page at LH_Transformations. So many platforms, so many ways to reach out to us today.
It's beautiful. Hey, keep moving. Keep it moving. Like my father is. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Larry Hamilton Transformations, LHTransformations.com. Larry, thank you so much. You always inspire us and get us moving, get the blood going through our bodies. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you. And stay safe.
You too. My pleasure.
Keep it moving. All right. We'll take a break right here. I've got a whole lot more coming up next on Open. Oh, wow. Funny how time flies when you're having fun, but I appreciate you and thank you for letting me share in this space and time with you. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show. And I want to thank our guests and you, our viewers, for tuning in and checking it all out. We really, really appreciate you. Always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice and let your choice control the choosing. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and I'll catch you up at 107.5 WBLS. I love you all. Stay safe, stay home. Peace.